do. Now you mentioned, what was it in his bio, synesthesia?
Oh, right.
What is that?
It's a cross-modal translation of sensory input. So you see something, but you hear sound. So you see a color and you have a sound. It could be any sense mixed with any sense.
So you like hear color, or if you're hearing music, you see it relate as like color, and it's like a cross of your senses.
Oh, okay. Is
You're
that
able
something
to
that like
smell and taste
influences
and-
your work, or do you suffer from that?
No.
Do you have that?
In my senior year, getting my psych degree, I had an abnormal psych seminar, and there was only like 6 of us in there with the professor. And I was writing a paper, and the idea was learning more about schizophrenia through synesthesia.
Ah.
So it was a really complicated paper. I couldn't find much research back then, and now there's a lot more people know what synesthesia is nowadays. This is back in '83 or '4. And I was up about midnight trying to finish this thing, and I had my living room completely cut and paste for real, where you cut pages and you have to paste it on, and then you type it all up, and back then. And I was exhausted. My girlfriend had gone to bed. And I was just sitting there going, I just felt lost. I couldn't get my thoughts together. And I thought, I'm just going to take a break. And I was sitting there, and I got this idea for a story. So I just typed this single line story out. And the next day handed it in to my professor, just thought he might find it interesting. It was on perception. And so after I typed it out, I remembered he had said, you know, if you're all messy in your brain, straighten up your environment and it'll help. Or vice versa. If your environment's messed up, straighten it up, it'll help your thoughts. So I organized everything around me, and everything fell into place in my head. And I was able to get the paper in order, and the next day I went to the library and typed it out and stuff. And then in my first Fiction 101 class, I wrote this story about this little boy, which grew into a novella, and it's at the end of my first book of short stories. So those 2 stories, when I wrote this book, kind of came together and ended up being this book.
Okay. 'Cause I was going to say, because I've read some of your other work, and within that book, and you do a lot of, sensory perception and just almost hallucinatory, almost like, we've talked about H.P. Lovecraft.
Right.
It seems like that's part of your genre, where you really play, like you said, it gets scarier as you go on, but you play with a lot of mind things in your writing.
Yeah, well, I got a degree in psychology. So.
Yeah, and to me, that's, one of the most interesting parts of your writing is when you get more surreal, and it is kind of like Lovecraft. And I think that's really hard to do, and kind of, because you're grounded in reality, like with the boys there at the beginning, but then your stuff gets super weird, but it seems like it's always grounded. It's not formless.
Yeah.
You should use that as a selling point for your book, because it's really, I could listen from over there, and it's a really good story. It's just, you gotta learn what would be interesting to people, and I think if you run off of the synesthesia base, I think that would be really something you could use for marketing.